Hello, welcome to She Served Sheroes, the podcast. We are so excited that you're joining us today as we introduce our podcast, and we are focusing on women of color, veterans, to share their stories. And we have so many incredible guests this season lined up for you, but we're going to start with myself. I will be your host this season of She Served Sheroes. My name is Marqueta. I am a United States Air Force veteran, and we'll get right into it. So, one question that I always like to start off with whenever I'm speaking to female veterans and interviewing them along with myself is what made you sign the dotted line? Why did you join the military? Um, my why in joining the military was really not even my own idea. When I got out of high school, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't immediately go to college, and I didn't find real footing in what I wanted to do my first couple of years out of high school, year and a half. And a very good friend of mine thought that it would be a great idea to join the buddy program in the military. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out with you. We did our due diligence, which means not so much at all of anything, and found the first recruiter we could find, which back then I think we did by the Yellow Pages, and met with the recruiter. We thought we were going to be maybe hearing about being in the reserves. We quickly found out that he was an active duty recruiter, had us take the ASVAB test, and my friend, who thought that it would be a good idea to join the buddy program, decided that it was not in her best interest at the time. She was in college to join the military. I had already taken the ASVAB test. And so, in hopes of finding a launch for my life, a starting point, I decided to go ahead and join the military, which was the United States Air Force, and off to Lackland I went. I had no idea what was in store. I had no reference of basic training stories or deployments or really anything. I went in without any knowledge whatsoever, and it definitely did change my life. There were circumstances that I never planned on experiencing, but it also definitely defined and shifted and shaped my character. And when I look back now, I realize how much the military really has impacted my life all the way until today. I'm still very, very passionate about the veteran community. And as a veteran woman myself that has gone through all types of highs and unbearable lows, I have reached out to the veteran community numerous times in my life and found the veteran community to just be a safe haven for me, a place where I can find resources that I didn't even know existed, and a camaraderie overall, even though I've been out for years and years. So, that's why I joined the military back in 1999. And then fast forward, and we'll get back into my story, but I want to fast forward all the way into next, who I am now, who I am in business. So today I am a business owner, small business owner, one of, again, a very good friend who I consider a sister. We have had businesses that we have ran together throughout the years. I'd say over the past 15 years, we've worked on different small businesses together. And now this year, we started a business together, a partnership, an LLC. We formed all of our paperwork, and we created Oliver Davis Consulting. So we work a lot in digital marketing, educating overall, and we work primarily with female entrepreneurs. As we've been on our journey this year and working with female women entrepreneurs, we've really been heavily inundated into the veteran community once again. And so we found that we're working a lot with veteran women. And of course, as women of color, which we are, we've really focused a lot of our efforts on educating our own demographic. We've relied on several resources as we have established our business. We have been so honored and just overwhelmed and thankful to be able to be a part of the Bunker Labs family. So, Bunker Labs is a national ran organization for veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs, active duty, the entire military community. And they focus on helping you with structuring your business, networking, providing educational resources and opportunities to scale your business. Not long after we started our business, we were actually introduced to Bunker Labs, and they have three different cohorts, three different tracks, if you will. One is called Breaking Barriers in Entrepreneurship, ran by the incomparable Renee Bob. If you are looking for grants, grant funding, Renee Bob is your person, period. So while we first did the Breaking Barriers in Entrepreneurship cohort, that's divided down by demographic. So there's an Asian American cohort, Latinx, Black, female, Latin. I think I said Latin already. So there's these different cohorts that you can join. And it's kind of an incubator. It's all online. And so after we got through our Breaking Barriers in Entrepreneurship cohort, we found out about the Veteran in Residence program, which is a 6-month cohort. So right now we're in the 6-month Veteran in Residence cohort. We'll be graduating actually in December, and I can't wait to share more about that. But over this year, the relationships that we've nurtured, developed, and established, I've just found that there's so many incredible stories out there. Now, again, we've always been attracted to other women in business and gleaning from each other and learning from each other because each one teach one, which for me, I'll go right into talking about essential business tools, knowledge, and sharing knowledge. One of the most critical tools that I have found in life, period, is community. No matter what you're doing, what you're trying to establish, or how established you are, community is your safe haven. Community will take you to your next level, and community is really who you can rely on. So for me, a big business tip that I have for anyone that is in business, considering starting a business, is establish your community. Get to know your community and share knowledge with one another. It's a game changer, actually. So another organization that this year we have found that I have really gleaned upon is Wounded Warrior Project. So talked a little bit about going into the military, talked a little bit about where we are today in growing our network, growing our business, expanding our business, providing digital tools, empowering businesses with digital literacy. There are a lot of businesses that are actually still on paper in 2023. So really empowering these small startups, or not even small startups, some are established businesses that we have come across that still need help with getting their digital footprint established. We're all about helping you get to the next level. So rewinding a bit on sharing resources and where we are today. So there's a big gap when we talk about being in business and moving forward now and starting a podcast, She Served Sheroes, which is focusing on veteran women, specifically WOC, women of color that also happen to be in business. We're going to share some incredible stories with you this season. The women that we have interviewed all have just change stories that can actually change your life from hearing what they have been through, what they've gone through. So a bit about me, the gap, is what I find a lot of times. When we're in the military, you're this one person, you're following rules, you're following orders, you're doing what you're supposed to do 24/7 by command. Generally, there's a phase when you get out of the military when you're trying to figure out exactly who you are, how to turn off all of the things that were activated in the military, and how to re-become a civilian. And I have found that adjustment is work and takes time. It can take years. And with the women that we've interviewed, I find that a lot of times when we talk about the gap, we say, all of the incredible experiences that we found in the military and endured. And then we can talk about where we are right now. but also we want to focus on the gap in between and how you got to where you are now from where you were then. So for me, I can tell you that my exit out of the military was an unexpected exit. During 2001, I was deployed to Saudi Arabia for an exercise, and that was around September 1st or 2nd, 2001. And within a week and a half, 9/11 happened, and that exercise turned into a real world experience. So everything changed. As a 21-year-old girl back then, I had a 1-year-old baby at home. I honestly was scared for my life. I had no idea if I would return back home. I felt like my military experience had gotten really real really quickly, and it was terrifying. But I was also very proud to serve my country, and it really set in the decision that I had made. So after my deployment and getting back, make a long story short, there was a vaccination that I was refusing to put in my body. I was close to my discharge, and I just didn't want this particular inoculation, which was going to take over a year to get the full inoculation in my body, which turned into me being the first person at my base to refuse this particular inoculation. And I was threatened to be court-martialed, which in civilian terms is going to court basically, and I could have been possibly arrested is what I was being threatened with at the time. I had, even back then, a very powerful community back home, and I was able to advocate for myself to not get court-martialed, but I did get discharged. And getting kicked out of the military really makes you feel like you're kind of worthless and unaccomplished. I had been airman of the quarter before, right the quarter before I was discharged, and I really didn't know what direction I wanted to head in. I ended up going into hospitality and being a restaurant manager for years. A lot of growth and development in the hospitality industry, learning leadership in a different aspect. One thing I had to adjust was I was very black and white when I got out of the military. Some of the coaching that I got back from my leaders was to be nice, to be more motherly, and to make people want to work with me. I say that I used to say this phrase, which is extremely rude, and now I've learned and grown, but I used to think that it was encouraging to tell my staff that if you suck at work, you suck at life. You don't come to work to pretend to be someone else. Who you are here is who you are. Dead wrong. I should not have spoken to people like that, but that was part of my journey of figuring out who I was after I got out of the military. So some of the extreme lows I had, there was a space in my life where I've faced a lot of death in my life, and I lost 2 family members in kind of close proximity. I suffered from deep, deep, dark depression and just found myself in a real hole. And during this time, the first 10 years after I got out of the military, I didn't even know that I was a veteran. And again, when we're talking about sharing resources and each one teach one, I always like to just let everyone know that if you served, a lot of times reservists don't consider themselves veterans, but you are a veteran. If you served, you are a veteran, and there are resources provided that can totally help you along your journey. So when I was in the real low space, I actually had a family member that said, you're a veteran. You don't have to be facing homelessness, and you can get therapy, you can get all of these things. And it was so foreign to me because, again, I didn't have an fully honorable discharge. So for me, I didn't know that there were even resources available to me. Again, the gap period in between leaving the military and to now, and what that journey looks like. So I kind of was just dropped off at the VA one day, like, you're a veteran, go find out how you get help. And that's how my path started. So if you are a veteran just trying to figure it out, a lot of us are very knowledgeable, very into the veteran community. But if you're not, if you have no idea and you're just still trying to figure it out, you can go to the VA and get help, free help, to get service connected, and just to start figuring out all of the things that you're eligible for. The VA offers services for free to veterans. You have your DD 214, they can pretty much pull up your records from them. So when I first realized that I was a veteran and started reaching out to veteran resources, again, I was at one of my lowest points. So I've been all across the board with no place to go, and also being the resource for people and the person that helps people get their life back on track. But personally, it's been a struggle for myself as well. So when I was facing homelessness when my daughter was a baby, I was actually able to get qualified for HUD-VASH, which was a low-income housing for veterans. And so that was kind of one of the first resources that was life-changing for me, that really impacted my state of life at the time when I had nothing at all. So going from there, I was able to kind of rebuild again. I did a lot of work in nonprofit. I worked on just the backbone of many people's companies, assisting them. I do a lot of independent contract work. And so as I rebuilt myself, I actually got married, which was probably the best time of my life when I got married. And a few years after we got married, we moved to Las Vegas. Anyone that does know me knows that my husband and I, we actually called each other Velcro. We were together all of the time. And he volunteered with me a lot. He helped with a parade that I was working with. I mean, my husband just jumped on board in the veteran community. Just anything that I was doing, he was a part of. So I went from having to reach out to resources to kind of in LA trying to start helping people with resources and letting them know what they were eligible for. Again, so a couple of years ago, moved to Las Vegas during the pandemic, and I actually lost my husband to COVID, the darkest point of my life, hands down. We came to Las Vegas to start our lives together, and my husband passed away 4 months after moving here. And in that time and space, there was literally no one that could do anything to help me. Like I said, I've dealt with a lot of death before, but nothing was like losing my husband. Literally, the only thing I knew to do was to reach out to the veteran community. I was introduced to another great resource, and I'll be talking about just some of the top resources that I know about that have really impacted my life, that I hope, if someone has not heard of these resources, that they would reach out if it would help them. So the first organization that I got connected to was Wounded Warrior Project. Wounded Warrior Project is another organization that is national, that helps veterans that are service connected, that have a disability that they acquired from the military, and that does include invisible wounds. Not all wounds are visible. So if you do have any type of service connection and you are an OEF, OIF vet, Desert Storm, Wounded Warrior Project is a great organization to look into. So Wounded Warrior Project provided me with, connected me with Centerstone, and I was able to get therapy because again, that was the darkest time of my life. It's where I'm building from now, reestablishing, redefining, and actually just fully relearning who I am. The woman that I am today, I say, is almost like a toddler, because 2 years ago, I was a completely different person with a completely different path mapped out for me. And I thought my life would play out completely different. Because of the hurt and the devastation that I went through, and the fact that I thought that I would lose my own life, because suicide is real, especially in the veteran community. And even though I was in the darkest point from losing my husband, It's still something. PTSD affects you in a lot of ways. And when you get into a darkness, you can find yourself in a really, really deep hole. And I knew that I needed help. With Wounded Warrior Project, not only did I start getting in therapy and get much counseling that I desperately needed, I also was informed about their Wounded Warrior work program. They have a Wounded Warrior talk program, all of these different things, all in this one organization. So I actually found a job through a referral from there and became a veteran career coach. So starting to work in the veteran community while also receiving different benefits and resources being a veteran. When people came to see me as a veteran career coach, I just learned so much more and was able to provide good sound information for people to get them in the right direction. But it had me very much like in this scaled space, right? Where I'm trying to recover and heal myself and move forward, but I'm also trying to be a stabilization for others. And I think also as military members, we find ourselves in that space a lot. We're naturally leaders, so we're always looking for the positions to take lead and give the path on how to find, whatever it is. However, it's okay to be vulnerable and we need help as well. And so I've learned a lot about myself in the vulnerable space, how to ask for help, how to say I don't have it, how to say this is what I need. And the veteran community has been there 1,000-fold. So I've really been overwhelmed with this community. Even though I've been out of the military for over 20 years, the past 2 years have really been significantly impactful. So going through my own journey, therapy, I also went through an Odyssey. Wounded Warrior has an Odyssey program where you go on this journey, like an Odyssey of self-reflection, self-healing. Your body physically, you put it through different courses and tasks, your mental strength, and then you're going through different workshops in between. But it really helped me again to, one, come up with my own mantras, the things that I tell myself to stable myself, to calm myself. There were therapists there kind of just holding the space. It was really an incredible opportunity. So for a lot of people, when someone is looking for somewhere to turn to, I direct people to Wounded Warrior Project. It's an amazing organization. Also, after Wounded Warrior Project, I've talked a bit about Bunker Labs, but that's another organization that has just been profound, that has changed my life, that I love to introduce people to. Then being just around women veterans, right now we're involved with the Women Veteran of Nevada, the Women Veteran Alliance. Melissa is amazing with the Women Veteran Alliance. I got to go to the unconference this year, and being in a room full of women veterans, it was so powerful. I was so emotional. I went after the conference to try to say hello and introduce myself to Melissa, and I just sobbed. So just being in this veteran community and hearing all the stories of women, and then just watching the triumph of women and what is happening out here. I mean, there are so many companies ran by minority women who are also veterans that have served their country, and they are doing remarkable work. We cannot wait to share with you some of these stories. I mean, women that are knocking it out in the political realm, people that are working with specifically veterans that have been affected by incarceration and making perhaps bad decisions in the past, but still working with them today to let them know that you are still a veteran. So this season, we have women from all over in different paths, doing different things, but they're running businesses that are veteran owned. They're minority women that are making it happen. And we want to be a hub, a safe space for sisterhood. We want to provide resources for women as you're trying to get your footing in business or in life, or if you need resources. Also, a phrase that I hear all of the time that really just sticks in my spirit now is your network is your net worth. And at She Served Sheroes, we want to be a community, a network that really pushes you to your next level in your net worth. We are all about providing resources to each other and helping each other and letting each other know those inside secrets. Sometimes in business, you feel like if only I knew a person that did this, or if only someone could connect me to that. That's what She Served Sheroes is here for. We want to be that hub. When I think about veteran organizations, and again, I'm so thankful for all of the resources that I have experienced. But when I think about somewhere where you can go, just let your hair down and be yourself, I don't necessarily feel like the places and spaces that are here that I'm aware of on a national level were necessarily designed for myself. In like having a business incubator or foundation, and as well as a relaxation space. You know, as veterans, there are these different like kind of clubs that you can go to hang out and be with your fellow comrades. And that's basically what She Served Sheroes is. We're looking to build that type of foundation, organization where women can go recharge, work on their business, have great networking, also just let their hair down and be unified with other women that are on that same path. We have a big vision for She Served Sheroes. But as we're introducing our community right now with this podcast, we're sharing the incredible stories of women. And we hope that you'll tune in. We'll be here weekly, dropping our first season of She Served Sheroes, the podcast. This, again, is just our very first episode where I'm kind of telling my story, some of my highs, some of my lows. And I can tell you, depression is real. I am a big advocate for therapy. You are not alone, whatever you're going through. Sometimes it's hard to get up and face the day, but this community is here to support you and to say, keep going. There are some dynamic women that no matter what you're going through, if they haven't been there, we've been close to there, or we definitely know someone to connect you with to help you get out of the current position that you're in. If you have served your country, you are not in this alone. As women overall, we should be sticking together. Each one unified helps us all to unify together. And we are all connected. We need each other so bad. So when I think about the impact that the military has had on me, I've always been an empath, but I feel like the impact that the military has had on me is the sense of community and fighting for a purpose. And so now today, it's like those experiences, I want to use that as a platform. I've been homeless. I've been affected. I didn't even talk about my scars, my invisible scars from the military. But like so many of us, we have them. The rates and what we even report are lower than almost anyone else in the military. We don't say what happened to us. We don't talk about the darkness, but we do need support. You do need someone to rely on, to be in arms with, that understands what you're going through, that won't judge you, and that will love on you. This community is what we're trying to do. We want to love on you and also empower you to get to the next step. So far in my experience, for sure, the women that have come into my life have lifted me up. And this is even before being so involved in the veteran community. Women have lifted me up, period. When I lost my husband, it was the women in my life that literally held me. I say that I feel like I laid on the hands of all of my friends when I lost my husband. So now that I am still healing and using these resources myself to empower myself, I've always believed in each one, teach one, and reach forward, reach back. So where I am, I'm trying to reach forward and reach back. With the skills that I have as a military woman, the resilience that is within me, and then the knowledge that I've gained over the years. It's okay to be resilient. It's okay to be a badass. It's okay to be tough. but we also need a soft spot. All of us need a safe space and a soft spot to just let our hair down and be our most vulnerable self. And I feel like that's something that I'm really, really learning in this season is how to be vulnerable and how to be soft, how to be a safe space for others, and how to help others get to their next path. Anytime I'm in a veteran community, this past weekend, we had the opportunity to go to the Military Influencer Conference, to be at MCON, and these events and these spaces are just amazing. Connecting with the military veteran community, you will find your space and your people. So for me, I like to say, one, who are you trying to connect with and who should connect with you? So who should connect with She Served Sheroes should be any woman of color primarily, even though we also very much are thankful for all the advocates, allies, community partners, and the community at large. But we want to hear your story. We want to hear your resources. We want to hear what you're providing and giving back for so that we can connect you to the people that are looking for your service. And for me, She Served Sheroes and Oliver Davis, the businesses and partnerships that I'm a part of right now, what we are looking for is definitely our next step. We are looking for opportunities to be on other podcasts. We're looking to spread the message of She Served Sheroes. And we are looking to be, at all of the veteran conferences as a podcast being live and being a resource and a community for WOC Veteran. And we are just asking that as you guys tune in to the She Served Sheroes, that you please spread the word, spread the love, share, comment, and just, support us. And we definitely plan to support you as well. Well, this is our first episode of She Served Sheroes. I hope that I've given enough for you to kind of understand who I am, why I'm so passionate about this community, why I'm so passionate about She Served Sheroes. And we hope that as we continue this journey, we just know that we will continue to run into dynamic women, and we want to hear your stories. We want to know about you. It is true that just hearing one person's story can save a life. Hearing a person's story along with the resources they're connected to can definitely change and turn around a life. Each one, teach one has been a value for me. I remember learning it in middle school, and it's something that I hold dear to today. We are so much more powerful together, and you don't have to do anything alone. There are people out here to help you, to lift you up in community, in sisterhood, in partnership. And if you don't know the answers, we can probably help find the answer. If we don't have the answer here at She Served Sheroes, we'll find someone who does have the answer to connect you to. We want to be a resource that really is helping women evolve and get to the next level. You're already a leader. You're already impactful. You already have so much that you're contributing to this world, but you are not an island. We all need community. And She Served Sheroes is here to be your community. You'll hear lots from us coming up. As I said, we have some dynamic women that we have already interviewed. We cannot wait for you to see the stories of these women, along with the resources and the knowledge that you're going to get from them. Well, this is our first episode. I really want you to go in the comments and just say hello. If you're a woman veteran, share your story. Give us a nugget. Tell us something about how this path has impacted who you are today and what you're doing in business. We want to learn about you. We want to hear about you. And we want you connected to the She Served Sheroes community. Please like, follow, and most importantly, engage. We want to hear from you. Questions, send them our way. You want to be a part? Please reach out to us. Thank you so much. So happy to be here. So excited about what is happening and what is going forward. And as the She Served Sheroes community is officially launched, we want to say Thank you to all of our sisters in arms for your service. Thank you to the entire military community for all of your support. And we look forward to everything that we will learn, accomplish, achieve together. Thank you. I am Marqueta from She Served Sheroes, and we have so much in store. Can't wait to share everything with you.